Hello and welcome back to a new episode in our worst weapons run of Ultimate General Civil War. And today we are going to fight in the Battle of Broken Road. We can bring 1.5 corps onto the battlefield, and we are therefore going to bring our 1st and 4th Corps. As usual, our infantry is armed with the Springfield M1842, but we also still have a couple soldiers armed with the Reboard Farmer and the Farmer Musket. Our 1st Corps is going to get artillery support by 3 batteries of 6-pounder field guns and by 4 batteries of 10-pounder ordnances. We are also going to bring a unit of Hunter Snipers. The infantry in our 4th Corps is also armed with the Springfield M1842, and we are going to bring a battery of 12-pounder howitzers, a battery of 6-pounder field guns and 2 batteries of 10-pounder ordnances. This corps gets additional support by our Hunter Snipers, and they also bring 2 cavalry brigades armed with the Sword-Off, 1 with the Cook and Brother, and 1 with the Sharps Model 1855. As you can see, we still have a lot of Springfield available to us, meaning that we are most likely also only going to field Springfields in the next upcoming battles. We have used up all of the available Hunters, and we have used up all of the Sword-Offs and Cook and Brothers that we looted from the enemy. Our 2 career points from the previous battles were invested in economy and into logistics. It is estimated that the Confederates are going to bring 33,400 soldiers and 186 guns to the battlefield, and once all of our soldiers have deployed, we are going to have 45,900 soldiers and 220 guns. But of course we have to approach onto an enemy that is very well entrenched. Maybe we have the option to outflank them, otherwise we would have to go full force through their front line. General, it seems we outnumber the rebels and their brigades are scattered in the woods, trying to exploit the good cover behind Brock Road. March down Orange Plank Road and attack the rebels. The battle can begin and our soldiers are organized as follows. Over here we are going to deploy an entire division with the goal to outflank the enemy over here. And over here another division is marching on the enemy flank over here. The rest of our forces are going to bind the enemy in the center. Let's make sure our general and our supplies keep up. And unfortunately, our artillery is going to be stuck by the terrain. The first parts of our battle line are about to deploy, but the rest of our forces have not reached their positions. And it looks like we have found a couple enemy skirmishers. Let's get these skirmishers from Sweeney out, so that we can mob up this resistance relatively quickly. This should allow us to get some early casualties onto the enemy without really endangering our force. The 3rd Division has almost made it to their position, meaning that they can now move over more or less open ground. Let's order them to move over the road and deploy from there. And with some luck, we are soon going to be on the flank of the enemy force. We have apparently until the day is over to reach our objective. And according to the battlefield, it seems to expand later because we have to hold Taps Wood, we have to hold Brock Road, and we have to hold Hitman Field. But so far we can only see Traps Woods. Let's get Sweeney's boys forward. It looks like these skirmishers are unwilling to budge. Sweeney's skirmishers, even though ordered to attack, have so far not done that. And the 6-pounders are beginning to engage the enemy. Let's get Whitfield's skirmishers forward. The same goes with Price and Perry. Over here I want Sherman's skirmishers to advance so that we can find out what is over here. I'm sure they're going to be enemies. And I am going to order the 2nd Division forward. 6-pounders and 10-pounders also move up. And we have encountered more skirmishers over here. Let's get our hunters to work. And enemy artillery is opening up. We know that the enemy has some soldiers over there. But it looks like these woods are more or less empty. Let's order our men forward so that we can hopefully get into this forest before the enemy can really do much to stop us. The second division is also now ordered into the forest. I'm sure we are going to encounter resistance, but so far it looks like we can march up relatively unopposed. Sweeney, I'm going to order you forward so that we can drive away those skirmishers. Upton skirmishers move on their flank. And our third division has almost deployed. Let's get them into battle lines, and then we are going to descend down this path. In the meantime, we are also going to hunt down the enemy skirmishers, and there is Kirkland. But I guess Mahone and Price can deploy out of reach for the enemy. Let's order our boys to deploy roughly over here. And once our flanking force has arrived, we should be able to drive away the enemy. They must have gaps in their lines somewhere. It looks like we drove away those skirmishers. Let's now get the first division forward. We know that there is Stone, we can see Harris. And our hunters are in contact. Let's get McCord skirmishers out so that we can find out if there is a gap in the lines over there. Otherwise we might have to charge the enemy out. Canfield skirmishers, I'm ordering you to reattach. McCord's boys need to move forward. We can see the enemy front line stretching out. But so far it doesn't look like that the enemy line is going to go further than this position. Maybe they have some more forces over here. I hope not, because this would allow us to send all of our boys behind the enemy. And if we can do that, we are able to completely annihilate them. Let's get our general forward. These boys simply have to endure some artillery fire. The same goes with our hunters. Cook and McCord, I'm going to send you further on the flank because it looks like we have found a gap in the enemy lines. On the double, so that you don't get outflanked too hard. 10 pounders and 6 pounders, I'm going to send you over here. Canfield, you're going to march down. There is Munford's cavalry. Swallow is moving up, very nice. Let's get Russell's skirmishers out so that we can figure out if the enemy has more in the rear. Cook is getting flanked by artillery fire. Let's make sure the soldiers are not moving on the double anymore, and let's get the boys forward. Let's get McCord over here to secure our flank. And it looks like we have reached this line relatively without problems. Let's get the boys forward. Let's get the farmers and Whitaker on the flank of Kirkland. And let's get these boys forward as well. These skirmishers can for the moment reattach. And over here we are going to wait a little while longer until we have fully engaged the enemy lines. Canfield, can you get on the exposed flank of Perry and do that on the double? 6 pounders open up on Perrin as soon as you get a little bit closer. These 10 pounders, I need them on the enemy artillery. McCord skirmishers, you are going to attack Pegram's artillery. This seems to be the majority of their guns. Farmers, you can march on the flank of Kirkland. Once they are engaged with Perry and Brewster, you might charge them. Sherman skirmishers, you can reattach for the moment. These boys, I need them to move up over here. And Russell, you need to move on the double. These 10 pounders need to follow the front. Over here, 10 pounders and 6 pounders move forward. Mahone, you are ready to engage. And the Texas Brigade is here. Longstreet must be near. This is problematic. The enemy is receiving reinforcements. I took too long to set up our boys. Farmers, you can charge in. You do not outnumber the enemy, but you are descending down on their flank. Russell and Sherman are hopefully strong enough to hold back the enemy. Can we get Whittaker down as well? Maybe we can stop the Texas Brigade from crossing. Reports, you need to get into the rear of Kirkland and do that on the double. Mahone, charge in. Over on this section, McCord was driven away by heavy enemy fire. McCook is also suffering. Perrin is still holding on. McCord skirmishers are luckily distracting the enemy artillery. Hunters open up. 10-pounders are dealing with enemy artillery lines, and these boys can move forward. There is Kirkland driven away. Very good. Let's get everyone forward. Reboards, you need to shift around so that right is not exposing your flank. And over here I want to get Russell's forces forward so that we can drive away Lomax. Sherman, you're also getting forward. Whittaker, you're moving over here. Russell skirmishers closer to the river. 10-pounders and 6-pounders, you are moving up. Supplies need to move up and Price needs to move up. Whitting, move forward. And because a couple of skirmishers were in our way, we could not engage Stone. Change of plans. General, your task to report AP Health Corps from Brock Road has become more complicated. Texas Brigade, the vanguard of Longstreet's corps, has been spotted. It is more than certain that Longstreet is advancing to attack us. In order to secure Brock Road, we must also fortify at these woods and repel the attackers. Moreover, we cannot lose control of our headquarters at Hickman's Field. Brigades of our other corps are moving to assist you. How nice of them! We already secured one of the objectives. We are deep in the flank of the enemy, and if we are able to get more soldiers in to the battlefield, we should be able to stop Longstreet and annihilate his forces. Canfield is luckily on the flank of Perrin. Cook is suffering severely. These skirmishers have been driven away momentarily. McCord, you need to get down and get Pegram. Otherwise, we are getting completely annihilated. 10-pounders move up. And a full rebel division is advancing. We can see the first corps over here. But it looks like we have enough time to build up a small defensive line. Brewster is also going to be sent down. Sherman needs to move up on these advancing forces. But these 10-pounders, I want them down, while these guns can deploy over here. Farmers and Price also move down. Bates needs to move up. Mahone is completely alone at the moment. And we can see that the enemy is trying to outflank us. Luckily we have our 2nd division here. I'm just going to order it forward. We can deal with some minor adjustments later. 6-pounders, you need to shift. These 10-pounders need to fire over here, and it looks like the rebels want to charge our gap in the lines over here. Russell on the double. Whittaker, move forward just a little bit. And then you need to hold your ground. And it looks like the enemy has been able to sneak up on us. Let's quickly send boys down to help. Otherwise, we are going to lose a lot of experienced artillery. Barry, you just going to charge them. Price on the double. Over here, we have been outflanked. Sweeney is taking casualties. I'm going to order him back. Upton has already withdrawn. Let's gather the men in those fields. 10-pounders also move back. Bates open up over here. Mahone is hopefully strong enough to hold, especially with the reboards in the area. We are driving away this brigade. Over here, our soldiers have to fight tooth and nail to stop the enemy. How is the situation to the north looking? We were able to drive away an entire brigade. Enemy artillery is for the moment isolated. We have Harris running behind our lines. which is never a good thing. We have more enemy forces trying to get through our lines. Luckily, our cavalry should be strong enough to deliver a quick hit. These 3 brigades can move down. Sweeney is falling back. And all of this has become so complicated so quickly. Mahone is routed. Down here, we can send Price north. We can send the farmers down. Barry has been repelled. These 10-pounders and 6-pounders need to withdraw. 6-pounders shift over there. Brewster is falling back now. Down here, we are holding for the moment. And we need to charge down these artillery pieces before they completely destroy us. Brigadier General Dwight Sherman has been wounded. We are driving away Coke. Let's get these boys down here. It looks like the enemy tries to outflank us over this direction. These boys can move down here. Let's get these men forward so that we can aggressively push the enemy. Down here, Mahone needs to get down. Our 10-pounders are opening up. We are able to flank Greg. 6-pounders are also getting ready. Whittaker has withdrawn momentarily. Let's get Brewster forward on the flank of Bryn. Brewster, you need to double time it. These 10-pounders need to open up on Bryn. Otherwise, our 6-pounders are going to be lost. Come on, Brewster, you just need to shift slightly. Very good. Bryn is running away. Whittaker, open up on Benning. Down here, Russell is battling with Jenkins. Our skirmishers might be... No, they are not able to get the artillery. We are hunting down enemy guns down here. Very good. And our artillery is currently stopping Harris together with the Hunter snipers. We are going to send McCord north. How is the situation over here developing? Coke is in the area. Sweeney is taking heavy casualties. Let's get our hunters forward. Let's get Mygat and Iverson in that gap. And let's order our cavalry to attack again. Our artillery line can set up over here. Just send them forward. And Garfield needs to move down this gap. We can see that Manfred's cavalry is moving up, but we have their flank exposed. They should not really be able to do much. Sherman, you can fall back, or better, you can reshift. 6-pounders open up over there. Reboards, you need to move down. Barry, you need to move up. Brewster, you need to help Whittaker. Mahone, you need to get down to Kennedy. And Sherman is still getting flanked because he is not willing to move. Brigadier General Alfred Bates is wounded. Miraculously, Russell is holding, but Jenkins is in the water. I guess the artillery is also not really able to move, but Brewster alone is most likely not going to hold against Benning and those artillery pieces. Over here, we are at least making some progress. Canfield, you're going to focus on McIntosh. Cook is... No, Canfield is going to focus on Chu, while Cook is focusing on McIntosh. And it looks like we are driving the enemy slowly away over here. Let's get our cavalry back. We might need to send them to the north to help against Harris. Over here, these soldiers can advance. And we have Brigadier General Patrick Mahone wounded. 6-pounders open up on the flank of right. That was a nice volley. Now, we are going to order Barry to charge in. Price needs to move forward. And Sherman needs to charge right. How's the situation down here looking? We are taking severe casualties. We can't really do much to assist at the moment. And luckily we are able to stop the enemy in the water. We have Major General Edward Upton killed. McCall's skirmishers are trying to stop Pegram's artillery from regathering their strength. And Brigadier General Eugene McCall wounded. Let's get our cavalry on these flanks. Let's get our supplies forward. McCall needs to focus on Coke. And we can see Perrin running. Let's get Sweeney and Myget forward. Let's get the hunters down here. Brigadier General Jacob Lomax is wounded. We are taking a hefty amount of officer casualties, but at least we are making progress. The enemy flanking attack was unexpected. I'm not going to lie about that. And I definitely didn't pay enough attention, but I think we got our soldiers in a good position from the beginning. And now we can make the enemy bleed. Enemy artillery is a problem. Luckily they're stuck in the water. We have strong cavalry over here. Where is our own? We need those boys over here. Let's quickly order an attack on Coke and then we can move further on the flanks. Maybe we are able to get all of these supplies from the enemy. Over here we can see that Wright is coming up. And our boys need to move forward on the enemy guns once more. Very good. Coke is running away. Let's get our cavalry together over here. Oh yeah, Walker's numbers are dropping. Very good. Let's get Penrose and McCord forward. Iverson, you need to shift. These 6-pounders need to get closer to the field. Myget just took a heavy volley. And it looks like Perry is the only unit still in the center. If we can charge him out, we are going to be a lot safer. Let's get Canfield and Cook down. It looks like they have destroyed the artillery. McCord skirmishers, I'm going to order them to reattach. It looks like enemy cavalry is coming to annihilate them. It is very much possible that they don't make it. We are now securing the woods and Brigadier General Enrique Brewster is killed. We are bleeding out Brim. Let's get Shermer down. We need him over here. We have a very weak line. Let's get Barry forward. Canfield is getting rear flanked. I do not know by who. He should be facing the enemy. McCord, can you charge down Harris? And the cavalry is there to charge in. McLellan, get closer to the boys. Canfield is routed. We were luckily able to break through over here. Sweeney, you're going to take position over here. Brigadier General Ray Whittaker is wounded. We are taking so many officer casualties. I hope we have the power to replace all of them. Bates move forward. Enemy cavalry is now moving in and they're coming in strong. Our own cavalry, I'm going to order a charge on the retreating Harris so that we can send McCord down. Our artillery needs to focus on Stone. He is trying to charge our guns. Hunters, get down here. Shermer has found more artillery. He needs to deal with that. Brewster, move forward. And it looks like we can order our boys to withdraw momentarily from here. Let's order them to move on the double, so that we can get a little bit of cover from the enemy artillery fire and hopefully lure them back in. Bates open up on the flank of Greg. Canfield is wavering. Upton move forward. Enemy cavalry is over here. McCord is not able to reach our guns in time, it seems. Let's get these boys forward to help. And let's get our cavalry back. We have just dealt with that enemy unit. Munford is on our rear. The enemy is withdrawing to our north. Let's get artillery into those woods. Let's get these 10-pounders closer to the line. And let's hope we can end this quickly. We have 1 hour left to hold. Kennedy is fighting with 600 soldiers. There is Humphreys coming up. And the Confederates have secured our rear because they have sent something there. Let's get our cavalry to deal with Stone, and we are going to get Penrose back. This is, of course, not ideal that the enemy simply outflanked us and took that position, but I hope we can recaptured. We have strong artillery over here. Let's get Mahone to charge down Kennedy. Mahone has good morale. He is an experienced unit. 10-pounders move forward. These 10-pounders can already begin bombarding enemy artillery lines. And it looks like we can move up over here. Brewster, you're going to flank the enemy. Russell skirmishers move forward. Over here, Sherman is flanked but holding. Cavalry needs to deal with those approaching soldiers. And Hoffman has been repulsed. We can send Canfield forward, we can send Sweeney forward. Casualties are high. So far I do not want to look at the casualty prediction. It is just going to make me sad. Luckily we are able to hunt Munford. Cook and Brothers, I'm going to send you down on the flank of Banning. These 10-pounders, I want them to focus on Banning and the 6-pounders on Stone. Our Cook and Brothers can come in. Quick volley, not very effective, and now move back. Over here we are still engaging. Whittaker is bleeding. We are taking severe casualties in the water. Can we get Russell forward to help? Over here we are luckily able to get closer to Nelson. Let's get everyone on the double and let's get everyone forward. And it looks like Kennedy is running away. He is in our rear. Penrose is trying to charge us. We need to send help. McCord and Hoffman, you are going to get to the objective. And McCord, you're going to help against Anderson. Iverson and Mygate, you need to move forward. It looks like we just destroyed a couple of skirmishers. Sweeney is down to 800 soldiers. What is going on in this battle? We still have no cohesion within our lines. Let's try to develop a line over here. Let's get Bates over here. Cook is alone, fighting alone. He only has 700 soldiers left. Let's get the artillery ready. Let's get our general forward. And let's also get some supplies in. And I am under the suspicion that Kennedy tries to snatch this point from under our noses. Whittaker is wavering. Russell's men are fighting Hugger. They now need to move, otherwise Haskell is going to flank them. And Sherman needs to move onto the rear of Kennedy. Canfield. Garfield, you need to charge Humphrey. Price on the double of Nelson. Once we have destroyed this line, we are finally able to use some forces elsewhere. Hoffman, I'm going to order you on the double. McCord, I'm also going to order you on the double. We just need to hold out and make it. Munford is in trouble. Banning withdrew over here. We have Colonel Donald Russell wounded. I think he is commanding our artillery. And we need to get some help over here. We have an entire enemy division that is stuck between our lines, but that we are also unable to finish off. Over here, our soldiers are falling back again, and I am not going to continue this attack. This is suicide. Whittaker, you're going to gather over here. Russell is also going to gather over here. It looks like we lost a lot of soldiers already. Oh yeah, it looks like we have lost over 12,000 men already. We could get, if I remember correctly, 15,000 soldiers as replacements after this fight. Let's hope we do not lose more than that, but it is very much possible. Anderson is falling back. Let's get Hoffman skirmishers to get onto the point. I don't think that the enemy has anything to protect it. And down here our reborns are going to move on to Kennedy. Garfield is falling back. Price needs to move forward on Harday's artillery. Brewster's skirmishers are going to get on Nelson's guns, while Brewster himself, I want him also on Hardway. Sherma needs to disengage and move over here so that he's not getting flanked. He lost over 600 soldiers already. Let's get Whitting and Upton forward so that we can finally drive away Greg. Our hunter snipers are down to 180 soldiers, but luckily over here Munford's cavalry is finally destroyed, allowing us to attack Pegram's flanking guns. Yeah, our hunters just got annihilated. Let's get Sweeney forward on stone. Anderson is wavering, very good. And we were able to drive away Hardway. Let's get Brewster down on Nelson. Brewster's skirmishers can be attached for the time being. Price can now move forward on Woodford, and we need to get Garfield forward. We are taking a lot of losses, especially amongst our experienced forces. But there's not really a lot that we can do. We still need to recapture our objective, then we can finally call it over. Hoffman skirmishers have almost made it. These boys still need to deal with Anderson. And we have destroyed the enemy flanking battery. Can we now also snatch some supplies from the enemy? Just to make us, you know, feel a little bit better. Very good. We have just got those supplies. Let's get them back. Cook and Brothers, don't fire, just move through them. Yes, there we have some supplies from the enemy that are going to help us a little bit. And we are going to send our boys forward on those artillery pieces. We are now controlling all of the objectives and we can finally call it over. This was some very heavy and chaotic fighting, but at least we were still able to achieve victory. At the beginning of the day we had over 38,000 soldiers and 990 cavalrymen, together with 220 artillery pieces. But after this battle we have suffered over 12,700 infantry casualties, we have lost over 65 of our cavalrymen and 11 of our artillery pieces were destroyed. On the enemy side however, they had 27,200 infanterists, together with 1,100 cavalrymen and 186 guns. After the battle, over 15,000 of their infantry were killed or wounded. The same goes for 699 of their cavalrymen, and 99 of their artillery pieces have been destroyed. 210 of their soldiers surrendered. We have achieved all of our goals. And the best unit on the battlefield was Canfield with over 936 kills, followed by McCord with 902 and Russell with 843. The highest losses were sustained by Whittaker, who has lost over 940 of his soldiers, followed by McCord with 889 casualties and Brewster with 866. Within our officer corps we have some promotions to Major General and one to Brigadier General, but we also have a very long list of killed and wounded officers. This is going to hurt us severely. After the fight we were able to rescue 12 of our Cook and Brother Musketeers. We captured 190 Sharps Model 1855 together with 228 sorters. We have rescued 279 hunters from the battlefield and we got our hands on 617 Pattern 1853 Enfields, 2000 Harper's Ferry M1855, 25 12-pounder Napoleons and 410 Lorraines. We also saved 5 of our 10-pounder ordnances, 204 farmers and 162 reboard farmers. After this fight we have also received another career point and 5 reputation, and we got over $156,300 and 15,000 fresh recruits. Also our prisoners got exchanged for 268 additional recruits, meaning that we leave the battle a little bit stronger than we got in. But this is only if we can replace all of our fallen officers with good replacements, because our first corps lost almost half of its officers, especially the 4th Division has suffered severely, only these 10-pounder ordnances, and our farmers still have a commander. Our 4th Division luckily didn't suffer so much, but they also came to the battle the latest. In the next episode we have to fight in the Battle of Muleshoe, and this fight is going to be an absolute nightmare because the Confederates have extremely good fortifications. But this has to be it for now. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and until we meet again, I wish you all a great time.